2. So we're going to be working with the Excel program, and this is the second video. So I already have it open, so we'll open this up. And let's have a quick review. These are called what? Good cells. And how do you move the cell? Make it bigger? You get the thin pencils, you left click and drag. Very good. So if I start typing, and I type Sheila Cohen, see how it went too big? I have to click out of that. Then I go between the A and the B. I get the, this will just highlight. I don't want that. And then I drag it. But let's talk about that. Let's say that I made a mistake. Let me show you. So I'm entering some information. I go to A2 and I just say, well, let's see if I got something that we can talk about. Computations. Yeah. So right here, let's not graph this 2000. Let's just see what happens here. See how I highlighted? Remember? You put the cursor on A1, you left click, hold, and drag. We're going to go to Insert. Since this is a change over time, let's see what happens. Oh my goodness, look at that. What's the problem? Probably because I have the month in there. It's trying to read the month. And see how I have the space? It's really having a hard time. Okay? So one of the things I wanted to show you was, see this left backwards arrow? I can get rid of it just by doing that. Now, first off, I'm going to left click and highlight that. Well, let's do this. I'm going to delete it. And watch what happens. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold under A1 the left click and pull down, insert, line. All right. Now I want you to notice that there's this B column in here that's an extra space. And see how that's really crammed together? And remember the legend, this would be, I would get rid of this title and put 1950 in there. And that would, I would need the legend, but I'd change the title. So I'm going to show you those sometimes. Sometimes you get carried away. And see how I have this extra column? I'm going to move that a little bit bigger. If I left click and highlight the B, see how I got the arrow? And I want to get rid of it because it's too far apart. I right click and get the box, and then I go down to the word delete. Look at that. See how I deleted it? Now I'm going to make this smaller. And just to show you, I'm going to start with this box, left click, and highlight this way. Oh, look at that. Let's get rid of that too. So I go here. See how I have to go on the 2 to get the arrow? And I'm going to right click and highlight, and I'm going to delete that. Now let's see what happens. Because I'm too lazy to type all that in, I go to the C6, left click, drag and highlight up. I'm going to insert. Now should have 2 line graphs. Look at that. Isn't that easier to read? See that? Now I have 1950 and 2000. Let's say these are, I'm going to go to my layout. I need to move this. What's it called? Legend. Remember, I like it at the bottom. You might like it at the top. But I need a chart title. So above chart. See how that comes up? So I'm going to click in there, go behind it, highlight it, and just say temperature change in Alaska. I'm making this up, right? Now, let's say I want now to put, I want to change the color of this line. If I go and I put my mouse and I right click on it, see that? I right clicked on that line. I don't want to use this stuff. I want to go up here. See how that's the fill, the shape fill? So I'm going to click, let's make it yellow. Oh, didn't work, did it? Sometimes you have to play with it. So, I don't know what it wants to do. There's a time when you have to play with these. Don't want that. I bet that's under Format. Yep. What was I thinking? Or Design. Yep. If I don't like it, I can always go to the arrow and go back. But let's do this. All right, so the data labels, we want to do the data labels. We can change the color of the data labels. Oh boy, that's not good. It's too close, isn't it? See that? You have to make it so it looks good. Let's put it on the center. Maybe a little better. But anyway, let's format the chart area. Remember, if I go in here, the plot area, get that, right click, and format plot area. I can do a solid fill. See? I can change that so I can do a texture or picture. This is a gradient texture. Let's try this one. Now you won't be able to see the numbers probably. Oh yeah, it changes right, but you can't see the numbers. So we have to change the data label. See how I clicked on the label? And then I have, that's the labels. It gives me the formatting of the labels. Fill, automatic. If I do no fill, if I do solid fill, see how that changes the data labels? Gradient fill. This is just for the data label. See how that is? I can change it linear, rectangular. See how it's changing? That's the color. I could put pictures in there in each one. Oh, fish. No, I didn't do the fish. Well, now let's say that's just to format the data labels. So you're starting to see I can do the numbers too. Let's see if I can do the numbers by doing this. I want to get format cells, font, bold. Yep, see it went bold a little bit, 66. It changed. It's hard to see the black, isn't it? So let's click on that. Data labels. Fill. Let's do that yellow. I didn't make it do it. So, all right. So see that? Now let's say I want to put a picture back here instead of a gradient line. I go to the plot area, I right click, I go to Format Plot, and I click the picture. Now, when you get a picture, you might want to go to Google, search Google Images, find your picture, save it to your H drive, and then it would be in your file. But don't forget to name it. Remember how I told you how to name? Anytime you save something to the H drive, you want to name it. Rename the file so you can find it. Well, I'm going to do clip art because I don't have any pictures saved. And I'm going to search for weather. Okay. So I see anything I like? Oh, I could put this guy behind it. Watch what happens. Okay. Look at that. So you figured out how to do a picture? All you have to do is go to the plot area, and this format, the plot area, really gives you all kinds of cool things to do. Now remember, when I save this, since I've opened this up, if you've opened up your H drive and you've already saved this once, then you can just hit save. And one of the things I want to show you that's kind of cool is you can do this stuff in 3D. And I want to go back to the first one we did yesterday on the VCR. If I go here and I want to change this, so I go to Design, and I want to change this chart type, and maybe you want to do 3D. Watch what happens. See, that's kind of cool. And then you can put a picture in this area. You can have a picture in the plot area, or you can have a picture here. This is the chart area, and this is the plot area. It's kind of weird. It's all different. format plot area. Let's see what happens. Again, it's sometimes you just have to be careful. Okay, that was that. See, that's all of that. And then that doesn't do the grid line. And you can't see the years, so we would need to go back and change that so that you can read your numbers. Okay, so you're starting to get ideas about that. So it gives you some ideas. There's my numbers, but you still can't see my numbers. See the 1994? It's very hard to see. So you have to find a way to, there we go, change the fill. Now that's kind of a confusing graph, but it gives you some ideas of what you can do to get the graph. The next thing we'll be doing, remember, you always want to save this. Right-click at the big box, and you want to move the chart. Click on Move Chart. Right now it's an object in the data spreadsheet. We want it to be a new sheet. If we just click this and didn't change the name, it will come up down here on the bottom as Chart. See, Chart 1. There's your data, there's Chart 1. If you happen to do that, always left-click and rename it as Graph to, well, make sure you spell it right because you'll lose points. Graph to grade. Okay, so we're going to finish up. The next time I'm going to go over how to send an email to me. This is just exploratory. You just have to practice. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.